Hi folks, me again. Time for another Take 10. This one's even later than usual because I had a meeting with the Sydney Comics Guild social gathering we do every 2 weeks. Actually, it was a good thing because I was able to do quite a bit on this drawing there, so I've technically already done 10 minutes today for myself. But because I'm trying to maintain posting these things, and because I want to share, and because I love you, and I love talking to my camera, I wanted to go ahead and do a 10-minute thing here too, so I'm just going to do a little more work on this. It's not anywhere near done yet, but just thought I would share this while I'm working on it. This is my Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 tablet I'm using here. I've probably seen it lots of times before, lots of reviews and things. It's actually pretty good. Using an app called Layer Paint HD, which is also highly recommended. A lot of good pressure sensitivity tools in there. And it's really actually quite good for digital painting as far as an Android tablet app goes. It's the only one I've ever been able to have any success with as far as painting in an Android tablet. But, you know, being it's not a full desktop class application, it has some limitations. But I'd still say it's probably head and shoulders above what I used before it. It even has color sampling like Photoshop, so that comes in quite handy. The impetus behind this Grim Reaper image is I wanted something to sort of, one of those inspirational posters you see out there. Like I've got a wallpaper that has the Batman from the Batman animated series doing the Uncle Sam pose, pointing at the camera, and it says, stop procrastinating and work on your art. And every time that one comes up I feel a little guilty and cowardly and superstitious, so I tend to work more, which is important. So for this one, I wanted a reminder, a subtle reminder of the passage of time and how finite time is for us, and how important it is not to waste it like I usually do. So the image is the Grim Reaper holding an hourglass, and it says TikTok in big text over his head. So just an image to have, basically. I was hoping if I could pull it off well enough that I liked it, not only would it inspire me to not waste time, but if I can get a decent quality image out of it, it might also encourage me that my efforts are not a waste of time. Because if I can do a good enough picture, when I see it, I'll be inspired to continue because I'll feel like I have the chops. Which is kind of important. I've been talking to a lot of artists lately, here locally, and it doesn't matter how accomplished they are or how much they've done, they all seem to have the same problem with confidence. An artist's confidence, it seems to be a very fragile thing. It needs to be constantly renewed. And I'm not saying they're needy, or we're needy, I guess I should say. I'm just saying that it's really easy to doubt yourself. You're working on something that it's really just something in your head until you finish it, and you're not sure if anyone else is going to be able to see it the way you do. And it's really important that they do in order to get across what you're trying to get across. So, there's a lot of pressure. You can feel that pressure. Speaking of pressure, I am an idiot. I stayed out way too late tonight. It's actually past midnight. I've got to get up in about 4 hours. But I wanted to do this damn video because I'm trying to keep consistency here. I figure if I force myself now, later on if things get tough, it'll be a lot easier. And because if I go to sleep without doing this, I'm going to feel like I didn't accomplish what I meant to today, even though I actually did more than 10 minutes today. That's not really an excuse to me. I should be doing as much as I can, with 10 minutes being the standard minimum, just because that's what I can pull off in the free time I have. It's actually more like 30 minutes to prepare and upload the video, which I'm sure you probably knew that, but 10 minutes worth of drawing is something. So that's why I landed on that, and I happen to like alliteration, so there you go. There's no way in the world this will be finished in 10 minutes, or in any increments of 10, less than several dozen. So I'm going to work on this between the 10-minute projects, because I don't want to bore you with watching me scratch away at it just a little bit every day. So next time we'll probably be back to some kind of sketch. But for tonight, I kind of wanted to show you what I actually did work on today, and just to prove I'm still at it, still going. If I give up, then, you know, who's going to encourage me? I'm the one that came up with this thing, so I have to encourage myself. Speaking of that, there were a lot of art heroes I meant to mention last time. I did not. I've remembered a few more. I'm sure there are tons more than this. But also I've been listening to and watching a lot of Bobby Chiu. He's got the Chiu stream that he does every so often, quite frequently actually. Very, very inspiring, and his art is really good. I love his creatures. That's the sort of thing I want to do actually. Not so much for movie concept art, but just the idea that what he does basically is draw inventive creatures. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. It's the kind of job I've wanted ever since I was a tiny kid. I remember one of the first things I ever drew was one of those crazy faces kids draw with their crayons, and the teeth are just a bracket of fencing, and I put dots on the teeth of mine with a black crayon, and I showed it to my dad, and he's like, "What are these dots? What is this?" And I said, "Those are bugs." So obviously that's the kind of kid I was, and that's the kind of guy I've grown up to be. But you know, I am what I am. I'm still drawing bugs in people's teeth. Metaphorically speaking, although sometimes literally speaking. Usually it's not even people. It's, you know, Grim Reapers and such. I like the idea that the Grim Reaper in this case he's not coming to kill you. He's more like a messenger. Literally a messenger in this case. He's trying to remind you of something very important that you need to not forget. Because it'll control your actions, it'll direct your actions to the point where you can get more out of your life if you just keep in mind that it's finite. It's important to use what you have while you have it. In this case, my 10 minutes, instead of sleeping, or whatever it was I was going to be doing, probably sleeping, I get a little further on this painting. So that's something. I don't think that it's not possible to judge progress based on how far I get in the 10 minutes. But I can judge my progress on my commitment to doing the 10 minutes, or as much as I can, and the eventual result that I get cumulatively. So, you know, every little bit helps is a good way to look at it. Besides, I'm kind of getting used to it now. I sort of like doing it. It gives me an excuse to sort of make time to do stuff, which I think was the point, right? So I'm not sure if I was even accurate on the clock this time. It looks like I have about 2 minutes left. Gotta do a little more polishing. Here's a quick view of the whole schmear, big as I can make it. Still be on the screen. So it's a very wide format. I'm going to print it out poster and it'll say Take10. Mine will actually have a dirty word down here for emphasis. But the one I offer for free for people to download for wallpaper and whatnot will be a little more family friendly. As family friendly as a Grim Reaper who's challenging your mortality can be, I suppose. It's the kind of thing I would want to see when I'm trying to motivate myself. Some people respond better to the carrot, but everybody responds to the stick. And it's a cool excuse to draw another skeleton, which is like one of my first loves in art, as it's pretty obvious. Here's an interesting art problem. How do you fill in the back of a Grim Reaper's mouth? Skeletons don't even have anything back there. It's just an empty space. You normally would see his spine through there, but I'm not going for realism here, obviously. So I'm just going to darken it out till you can't tell if there's anything back there. I mean, this whole thing's going to print up the size of a normal sheet of notebook paper, or around A4 if you're in the British metric system world, like I am. So, it doesn't have to be too detailed. The whole thing doesn't have to be too detailed. Again, it's an idea. It's a concept. It's a chance to play around on my tablet a little more. This is something I'm going to be working on the train tomorrow, I believe, if I can stay awake. Anyway, since I'm getting too sleepy to gauge time properly, I'm going to assume that I'm pretty much out of time for this one. And I will thank you for watching and listening. I remind you that I'll post an image of this, or I've actually already posted a quick screen capture of this from earlier today on my Tumblr, which is nathandrawsdaily.tumblr.com. And thank you for watching, listening, and thank you everyone who makes art for making art. And keep doing it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.